There is a pervasive belief in society that suggests a woman without a husband is somehow incomplete or lacking. This outdated mindset often makes women feel that their worth is tied to their marital status, as if being single means being somehow less than. But the truth is, your value is not determined by whether or not you are married. Your worth is inherent, and it is not dependent on anyone else's presence in your life. A woman without a husband is not missing something. She is whole, she is powerful, and she is perfectly capable of living a full, meaningful, and impactful life, whether she is married or not. The notion that a woman's life is somehow on hold until she finds a husband is a dangerous and limiting belief. It makes women feel that they are somehow less complete, or even less worthy of love and success simply because they are not married. But when we look at the bigger picture, we realize that the most important relationship a woman can have is not with a man, but with herself. When a woman is in tune with her own worth, when she understands that she does not need to be defined by her relationship status, she becomes unstoppable. Her life is not defined by the presence or absence of a husband. She is already enough, with or without a partner. For many women, marriage is seen as the ultimate goal, the final destination on the road to happiness and fulfillment. Society paints a picture of a woman's life as incomplete or insufficient unless she is in a committed relationship. However, it is essential to recognize that fulfillment does not come from external sources. While marriage can bring joy and partnership, it is not the source of a woman's true worth. A woman who is single is not missing anything. She is capable of finding joy, fulfillment, and purpose in her own life. Her life is not on pause simply because she is not married. Being single can be a time of incredible personal growth and discovery. It offers the space to focus on developing your passions, pursuing your dreams, and cultivating your own happiness. Instead of seeing singlehood as a problem to be fixed, consider it as an opportunity for self-reflection and growth. This is the time when a woman can invest in herself emotionally, physically, and spiritually without the distractions or compromises that often come with being in a relationship. In these moments of solitude, a woman can become the best version of herself, growing stronger, more confident, and more independent. She has the time and space to focus on her career, her hobbies, her friendships, and most importantly, her relationship with God or higher power. The key to understanding the value of being single lies in shifting the perspective. It is not a period of waiting or wishing for something else. It is a season of becoming. A woman who understands this will not rush into a relationship for the sake of fulfilling a societal expectation. She will not settle for someone who does not appreciate her worth simply to fulfill a perceived need for companionship. Instead, she will wait for a relationship that enhances her life, that brings mutual respect, support, and growth. She will wait for the relationship that aligns with her purpose and values, not the one that forces her to compromise on who she is or what she believes. For many women, the pressure to settle down and find a husband is overwhelming. It often leads to comparisons with others who may seem to have figured it out while they are still single. But comparison is the enemy of progress. Just because someone else's life looks a certain way does not mean it is the right path for you. Your journey is uniquely yours, and it will unfold in its own time. There is no timetable for love, no set deadline for when you should be married or when you should have a family. Each person's path is different, and just because you are not married today does not mean you are behind or missing out on anything. There are women who feel that they are not enough because they have not yet found their partner. But this mindset is harmful and inaccurate. Your worth is not measured by the presence of a husband in your life. You are worthy because of who you are, not because of your relationship status. A woman who understands this truth does not live in fear or desperation. She's not afraid of being alone because she knows that being alone is not the same as being lonely. In fact, being alone can be one of the most empowering experiences a woman can have. It is during these times that she learns to love herself, to appreciate her own company, and to create a life that brings her joy, peace, and fulfillment. It is crucial to understand that you are not incomplete because you are not married. You are already complete in yourself. When a woman fully grasps this truth, she begins to live her life with intention and purpose. She understands that her life does not revolve around finding a partner, but rather it revolves around fulfilling the unique calling placed on her life. Whether or not marriage is part of her journey, she knows that her life is valuable, meaningful, and significant. For those who desire marriage, it is important to remember that it is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to live a life of purpose, to contribute to the world, and to become the person you were meant to be. Marriage is a beautiful addition to life, but it should not be seen as the end-all be-all. You can live a fulfilling, successful, and joyful life with or without a husband. If marriage is meant to be a part of your story, it will come in due time. But do not rush it. And do not settle for anything less than the kind of love and partnership that you truly deserve. A woman without a husband is not missing anything. She is living a life that is full of potential opportunities and purpose. She is not defined by her relationship status. Her worth comes from within, from the love she has for herself, the work she does, the contribution she makes to her community, and the legacy she is building. Whether or not she has a husband does not change who she is or what she can accomplish. She is powerful, she is enough, and she is more than capable of living a rich, fulfilling life. It is a truth that cannot be ignored. The idea that a woman without a husband is somehow less than or incomplete is a harmful and outdated notion. Society has long perpetuated the belief that a woman's worth and happiness are bound to her relationship status, that marriage is the ultimate goal and if not achieved, signifies some sort of failure. But let me make it abundantly clear, being a woman without a husband does not diminish your value. You are not less than, you are not incomplete, you are not waiting for someone else to define your worth. You are a whole, powerful individual, and your purpose in this world goes far beyond whether or not you are married. For far too long, society has painted the picture that a woman is incomplete if she does not have a husband. From movies to books to societal expectations, we are bombarded with the narrative that marriage is the final destination, the finish line that defines success in a woman's life. This mindset leads many to believe that their worth is somehow lessened in the absence of a husband. But the reality is that a woman's worth is not defined by her relationship status. Your value is inherent and does not change based on whether or not you are married. You are just as valuable when you are single as when you are in a relationship. Too often, women feel a sense of urgency to find a partner to fit into a mold that society has prescribed for them. They are told that they should marry young, settle down, and raise a family. The pressure to conform to these expectations can be overwhelming, and as a result, many women begin to feel inadequate, unworthy, or incomplete if they do not meet these societal milestones. But in truth, marriage is not the ultimate goal of life. It is a beautiful part of life, but it should never be the sole defining factor of a woman's existence. A woman who does not have a husband should not feel that her life is on hold or that she is waiting for something to complete her. In fact, this time in her life is an opportunity for growth, self-discovery, and self-empowerment. It is a time to invest in her own personal development, to cultivate her passions, and to build the life that aligns with her values and desires. It is a time to focus on her career, her personal goals, her dreams, and most importantly, her relationship with herself. When a woman is not focused on being in a relationship, she has the freedom and the space to fully discover who she is, what she wants from life, and how she can best contribute to the world around her. Being single should never be viewed as a limitation or a state of lack. Instead, it is an opportunity for empowerment. It is a time to explore your interests, to develop your talents, and to grow into the person you were always meant to be. When a woman is single, she is free from the constraints that can sometimes come with a relationship. She can take risks, explore new opportunities, and focus entirely on building the life that she dreams of. She can travel, further her education, pursue her career ambitions, and create lasting friendships. In many ways, being single provides a woman with the freedom to grow in ways she might not have been able to do in a relationship. This is not to say that relationships are not beautiful or important. Marriage can be a wonderful and fulfilling part of life. But it is essential to understand that being married is not the measure of success. A woman should never settle for a relationship out of a sense of societal pressure or fear of being alone. She should never feel compelled to be with someone who does not respect her, who does not share her values, or who does not add to her happiness. It is better to be single than to be in a relationship that drains your energy, diminishes your sense of self, or prevents you from living the life you were meant to live. A woman without a husband should understand that she is not missing something from her life. She is not less than, and she is not incomplete. She is whole and powerful in her own right. The purpose of life is not to find someone to complete you, but to fulfill your own unique purpose in this world. When a woman understands this, she can live her life with confidence, knowing that she is enough just as she is. She is worthy of love, success, happiness, and fulfillment with or without a husband. It is important for women to recognize that marriage is not a race. There is no timeline for when you should be married, and there is no right age to find a partner. Your life does not need to follow anyone else's timeline. Some women marry young, while others marry later in life, and some women never marry at all. All of these paths are valid, and all of them can lead to a fulfilling and meaningful life. The only thing that matters is that you are living your life authentically true to yourself and in alignment with your values and goals. There is a myth in our society that women are incomplete if they are not married by a certain age or if they do not have a husband. This myth needs to be shattered. A woman who is single is not less than a woman who is married. She is not any less capable of leading a successful life, of achieving her goals, or of finding love. In fact, being single can be a time of deep personal growth and empowerment. It can be a time when a woman discovers her passions, builds her independence, and becomes the best version of herself. A woman without a husband is not missing out on anything. She is free to create the life she desires, to pursue her dreams, and to develop her sense of self. She is not incomplete. She is whole. She is a beautiful, powerful, and worthy individual who deserves to live her life on her own terms. The only validation a woman needs is the recognition of her own worth, not the approval of society or the presence of a man. A woman is complete in herself. She is a whole being capable of achieving greatness, loving herself, and living a life that is fulfilling and meaningful. So if you are a woman who is currently without a husband, let me encourage you, do not let society's expectations define your worth. You are enough. You are complete. You are not missing anything. The right relationship, if it is meant to come into your life, will come in due time. Until then, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Pursue your passions, live your dreams, and create the life you desire. Your life is not on hold because you are not married. It is unfolding exactly as it is meant to. You are whole. You are powerful. And you are more than enough. The idea that a woman is defined by her relationship status is not only an outdated mindset, but it also holds no truth. The notion that a woman without a husband is incomplete, lacking, or missing something in her life is a harmful narrative that limits her potential. Society has long ingrained the belief that a woman's value is directly tied to whether or not she has a husband. But this simply isn't true. A woman without a husband is not less than she is not incomplete. She is not waiting for someone else to complete her life, nor should she feel that her life is somehow on pause until a partner enters the picture. A woman is whole on her own, and her worth is not determined by the presence or absence of a husband. For too long, women have been made to feel that they are somehow behind or unworthy if they are not married. There is often a pervasive, unspoken pressure to marry by a certain age, to have children, and to follow the prescribed path set out by societal norms. If a woman doesn't fit into this mold, she may feel inadequate or as if something is wrong with her. But let's step back and realize that this traditional view is not the full picture. It is critical for women to understand that they are not defined by their relationship status. A woman who's single or even widowed or divorced is not any less worthy of love, respect, or success. In fact, these periods of life offer profound opportunities for growth, reflection, and empowerment. When a woman is single, there is a unique opportunity to focus on self-discovery, to cultivate independence, and to shape her life according to her own vision and desires. She is free from the commitments and compromises that come with being in a relationship. This is a time when she can invest in herself fully, whether that means pursuing career goals, developing new skills, traveling, forming deep friendships, or focusing on personal well-being. The time spent single should not be viewed as a waiting period, but as an enriching phase of life that allows a woman to strengthen her foundation, build confidence, and enhance her self-love. It is in these moments of solitude that a woman can learn to love herself deeply and understand her true value, free from external validation. This period of independence can be empowering because it allows a woman to become more attuned to her own desires and aspirations. Without the pressures or expectations of a partner, she has the freedom to take bold risks, make decisions based on her own priorities, and live life on her own terms. She is not bound by the compromises that often come with being in a relationship. The world is open to her, and she has the space to explore the full breadth of her potential. She can create a life that reflects her true self, one that is fulfilling, vibrant, and meaningful, regardless of her marital status. This is not to say that relationships are not valuable or important. A healthy, loving partnership can enrich a person's life in ways that singlehood cannot. But the key point here is that a woman's life is not incomplete or lacking simply because she is not in a relationship. Marriage should not be seen as the ultimate goal of life, but as one of many paths to happiness and fulfillment. Some women will marry, some will not, and that is perfectly okay. Each individual's journey is different, and there is no universal timeline or roadmap that applies to everyone. The belief that a woman's worth is tied to her marital status often leads to unnecessary pressure and stress. Many women feel that they must settle for any relationship just to fulfill societal expectations or avoid judgment. This leads to women being in relationships that are unfulfilling or even damaging, simply because they feel that they must be married to be considered successful or complete. It is essential for women to understand that they do not need to settle for less than what they deserve in a relationship. It is better to be single than to be with someone who does not appreciate you, who does not respect you, or who does not align with your values and dreams. A woman should never feel pressured into being with someone simply because society tells her that she should be married. She deserves to wait for a partner who adds value to her life, someone who appreciates her for who she truly is, and someone who will walk beside her in mutual respect, love, and shared goals. Being single gives a woman the chance to be clear about what she truly wants in a partner. Without the distractions of a relationship, a woman can reflect on her own needs, values, and priorities. This clarity allows her to enter future relationships with a sense of confidence and purpose, knowing exactly what she is looking for and what she deserves. She will no longer be swayed by external pressures or fleeting attractions, but will instead seek a partner who aligns with her deepest values and aspirations. A woman's value is not contingent on her ability to be in a relationship. She is valuable because of her qualities, her strengths, her accomplishments, and her character. A woman who knows her worth will not seek validation from others, especially from a relationship. She understands that she is complete on her own. She is strong, capable, and deserving of all the good things life has to offer. When a woman recognizes this truth, she no longer feels the need to look outside of herself for fulfillment. She knows that her life is already rich with meaning and purpose, and she embraces her journey, whether it includes a partner or not. Being a woman without a husband does not equate to being incomplete. It means that you are free to live your life authentically and on your own terms. You have the power to shape your own story, to create a life that is full of meaning, and to build your own legacy. The right relationship, if it is meant to be part of your life, will come when the time is right. But even if it doesn't, your life is still worth living to the fullest. Your value does not come from your relationship status, but from who you are at your core. You are enough. You are powerful. You are complete. In conclusion, the idea that a woman must have a husband to be whole is a myth that must be dispelled. A woman is complete in herself, with or without a partner. It is essential to recognize that your value does not depend on your marital status, and your journey is yours to define. Take pride in the woman you are, the life you are building, and the person you are becoming. Embrace every moment of your journey, and know that you are enough just as you are. Your worth is inherent, and no one can take that away from you. You said expand 10 up to 800 words without any headings, ChatGPT said. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's world, there is a growing need to understand the importance of being consistent. Success does not come overnight, nor does it happen by chance. It is built upon a foundation of consistent actions, behaviors, and habits. Consistency is not just a trait. It is a way of life. It is the key that unlocks the door to achieving great things. Success demands consistency because without it, even the most well-intentioned efforts will falter. If you want to build something meaningful, something lasting, you must be willing to show up every day, to put in the effort no matter how small the steps may seem. Success is not a moment, it is a journey, and consistency is the fuel that powers that journey. One of the primary reasons consistency is so critical is that it builds momentum. Imagine pushing a boulder up a hill. The first few pushes are the hardest, and it might seem like you're not making any progress. But as you continue to push, the boulder gains momentum and the task becomes easier. Life works in much the same way. At the beginning of any endeavor, the challenges and obstacles can feel overwhelming. It is easy to get discouraged when progress seems slow. However, the more consistent you are, the more momentum you build, and eventually what seemed impossible becomes achievable. The key to reaching your goals is to keep going, even when it feels like you are not making much progress. Each small action, each moment of perseverance adds up to something much greater in the long run. Furthermore, consistency creates discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It is easy to start a project or a goal when you're excited, but it's the consistency that comes after the initial enthusiasm fades that truly matters. Discipline is not about motivation, it's about commitment. It's about showing up every day, even when you're tired, even when things get tough. Consistency builds that discipline over time, transforming what might initially feel like a burden into a habit. When you cultivate the habit of being consistent, you become more resilient, more focused, and more capable of achieving your goals, no matter how big they are. Success also demands consistency because it helps to develop mastery. It's not enough to just start something. You have to keep going. Mastery doesn't happen with a single effort, nor does it come from sporadic bursts of effort. It comes from consistent practice, from putting in the work day after day, from continually refining your skills and abilities. Whether it's learning an instrument, developing a new skill, or building a business, the path to mastery requires dedication and repetition. With each effort, no matter how small, you improve, and over time, you start to see the results of your hard work. The difference between success and failure often lies in one simple concept: consistency. Those who are willing to put in the time, even when the results aren't immediately visible, are the ones who ultimately achieve success. In addition, consistency builds trust. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, whether personal or professional. When you show up consistently, you demonstrate that you are reliable and dependable. People begin to trust you because they know that you will follow through on your commitments. Consistency builds a reputation of integrity, and this reputation is invaluable. Whether you're building a career, running a business, or nurturing personal relationships, being consistent is one of the best ways to earn and maintain trust. It shows that you are committed to your goals, to your work, and to the people around you. People are drawn to those who are consistent because they know that they can count on them. Another reason why consistency is so important is that it helps you stay focused. In a world filled with distractions and constant noise, it's easy to lose track of what really matters. Consistency acts as a reminder to stay focused on your goals. It forces you to prioritize your time and energy toward what's important and helps you avoid the temptation to veer off course. When you make consistency a priority, you become more disciplined in managing your time, making it easier to stay on track. It's easy to get sidetracked by new opportunities, but when you are consistent, you are clear about what you need to do and why you're doing it. Focus and consistency go hand in hand, and together they provide the clarity and direction you need to succeed. Success also demands consistency because it helps you develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that you can improve, learn, and grow through effort and perseverance. Consistency fosters this mindset because it requires you to keep going even when things get tough. It challenges you to see obstacles as opportunities for growth rather than as barriers to success. When you are consistent, you develop a positive attitude toward challenges, knowing that each obstacle is simply a stepping stone toward greater achievements. Consistency helps you maintain the mental fortitude to keep going, even when progress is slow, and it encourages you to continue learning and evolving in the process. It is important to understand that consistency doesn't mean perfection. Perfection is an illusion, and expecting it from yourself can set you up for failure. Consistency is about progress, not perfection. It's about showing up, doing your best, and continuing to improve over time. It's about creating habits that move you toward your goals, even if they are not always flawless. The pursuit of perfection can often be paralyzing, but consistency allows you to move forward despite imperfections. It's the consistency of effort, not the perfection of results, that leads to success. Consistency also gives you a sense of accomplishment. It provides a sense of structure and routine in your life, which helps to boost your confidence and self-esteem. When you are consistent, you create a pattern of success, and with each small victory, your confidence grows. Success is often a series of small wins, and consistency ensures that those wins add up. The more you commit to your goals, the more you begin to see the progress you are making, and this progress fuels your motivation to keep going. With each step forward, you build momentum and confidence, and your belief in your ability to succeed strengthens. In conclusion, success demands consistency because it is the key to building momentum, developing discipline, mastering skills, building trust, maintaining focus, cultivating a growth mindset, and creating a sense of accomplishment. Without consistency, success is fleeting and unreliable. It is the repeated effort, the commitment to showing up every day that leads to lasting success. If you want to achieve greatness in any area of your life, you must be willing to commit to consistency. Success doesn't happen by chance. It happens through consistent action, day in and day out. Be consistent in your efforts, and you will find that success will follow. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a truth that every woman needs to hear. Your value is not defined by a ring on your finger, but by the purpose in your soul. We live in a world that often measures a woman's success by her relationship status. From a young age, society whispers, when will you get married? Who will you marry? But let me ask you, what about your vision, your dreams, your calling? Marriage is a beautiful partnership, but it is not the definition of a woman's worth. Some women are married, yet they feel lonely. Others are single, yet they feel whole. Why? Because fulfillment comes from purpose, not people. Let me start with a truth that every woman needs to hear. Your value is not defined by a ring on your finger, but by the purpose in your soul. We live in a world that often measures a woman's success by her relationship status. From a young age, society whispers, when will you get married? Who will you marry? But let me ask you, what about your vision? Your dreams? Your calling? Marriage is a beautiful partnership, but it is not the definition of a woman's worth. Some women are married, yet they feel lonely. Others are single, yet they feel whole. Why? Because fulfillment comes from purpose, not people. If you are a woman without a husband, this is not a curse. It is a season of power. This is the time to build yourself mentally, spiritually, and financially. Do not wait for a man to complete you. Become complete within yourself. The world has conditioned many women to believe that their lives only truly begin when they find a husband. But that is not true. Your life is already happening right now. You are already valuable, already worthy enough. Too many women put their dreams on hold while waiting for a man to come along and give them permission to live. But what if that man never comes? Will you spend your whole life waiting instead of building? Marriage should be an addition to your life, not the foundation of it. If you are waiting for someone else to give your life meaning, you will always feel empty. A woman who walks in purpose is not chased, she attracts. Now, some women feel pressure. They think time is running out. They look at their friends getting married, at their family members questioning them, and they begin to feel like they are falling behind. But let me remind you, God's timing is never late. You don't need to rush into something just to fit into society's expectations. Many women settle for the wrong man because they fear being alone. But being with the wrong person is far worse than being single. Marriage is not about finding someone to fill a void. It is about joining two whole individuals with a shared vision. If the time is right, God will align you with a man who respects your purpose, not one who distracts you from it. You do not need to force love. The right love will come at the right time. And even if it never does, you will still have lived a life of meaning, because purpose is greater than partnership. A woman without a husband is not weak. She is strong, because she has learned to stand on her own, to build without waiting, to move forward without hesitation. A strong woman does not rely on validation from others. She creates her own confidence. She does not beg for love. She radiates self-respect. She does not wait for happiness. She builds it from within. Some women think that if they are not married, they are missing something in life. But let me tell you, there are many married women who feel trapped. There are many who regret rushing into a relationship just because they feared being alone. Loneliness is not about whether you have a partner or not. Loneliness is the absence of purpose. When you are walking in your calling, when you are busy fulfilling your destiny, you don't have time to feel empty. You are too focused on growing, learning, and impacting lives. If you are single, this is your time to develop yourself. What are your passions? What are your dreams? What skills do you need to learn? Do not spend your single years in frustration. Use them to grow into the person you were meant to be. Some women spend all their time waiting for a husband, but a woman of purpose is different. She is too busy becoming the best version of herself to be desperate for anyone else. You don't need to fit into society's mold. You don't need to explain why you're single. You don't need to feel ashamed of your journey. You are enough. If marriage is meant for you, it will happen at the right time with the right person. And if it's not, you will still be complete, still be powerful, still be fulfilled. Do not allow pressure to make you settle. Do not let fear push you into the wrong relationship. Your future is too important to be given to someone who does not value you. Be patient, be focused, be strong. And always remember this: you were never created just to be a wife. You were created to be a woman of purpose. Let me remind you of a truth that is often overlooked. Your value is not determined by whether or not you have a husband. The world may try to convince you otherwise, but the reality is that your worth comes from within, from your purpose, from the unique gifts and strengths that God has placed inside you. Being single is not a sign of failure, nor is it a curse. It is a season of growth, a time to build yourself, to strengthen your mind, to develop your spirit, and to become everything you were created to be. Too many women have been conditioned to believe that life only truly begins when they are married, that happiness is only found in the arms of a husband, and that their purpose is tied to being a wife. But what if I told you that singleness is not emptiness, but an opportunity? What if I told you that this time in your life is not a waiting room, but a training ground? What if I told you that God is using this season to prepare you, to refine you, and to position you for something far greater than just marriage? A woman who knows her worth does not sit around waiting for someone else to validate her. She does not measure her success by whether or not she has a ring on her finger. She understands that she is already whole, already complete, already enough. She does not waste her energy chasing relationships that drain her. Instead, she invests in herself. She builds her mind, she grows her faith, she develops her skills, and she positions herself to walk fully in her purpose. One of the greatest mistakes a woman can make is to settle for less because she is afraid of being alone. The fear of loneliness has led many women into relationships that break them rather than build them. It has caused them to compromise their standards, to ignore the red flags, and to give their hearts to men who do not deserve them. But being with the wrong person is far worse than being single. A toxic relationship will drain you, distract you, and delay your destiny. It is better to wait and build yourself than to rush into something that will cost you your peace. Society often puts pressure on women to get married as if that is the ultimate goal of life. Family members ask, when will you get married? Friends say you need to find someone before it's too late. But let me remind you that God's timing is perfect. You do not need to force what is meant for you. You do not need to chase what God has already aligned in His plan. If marriage is in your destiny, it will come in the right season, with the right person, and under the right circumstances. And if it is not, that does not mean you are incomplete. It means that God has a different purpose for your life. One that is just as powerful, just as meaningful, and just as fulfilling. Too often women believe that a man will complete them. But wholeness does not come from a relationship. It comes from within. A woman who is whole within herself radiates confidence, peace, and strength. She does not need to beg for love because she understands that love should never require desperation. She does not need to lower her standards because she knows that real love will never ask her to compromise who she is. She does not need to prove her worth to anyone because she is already valuable. When a woman embraces her singleness as a season of growth, rather than a period of waiting, she becomes unstoppable. She stops seeking validation from others and starts creating a life she loves. She stops comparing herself to married women and starts focusing on her own journey. She stops believing the lie that she is lacking and starts seeing herself as a woman of purpose, a woman of strength, a woman who does not need a title of wife to walk confidently in her calling. Some women feel like they are running out of time, but let me tell you, you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. The timeline that society imposes on women is not God's timeline. Just because your friends are getting married does not mean you should rush into a relationship. Just because people expect you to settle down does not mean you should ignore your personal growth. Your journey is unique. And the moment you stop trying to fit into someone else's expectations is the moment you truly begin to live. A woman without a husband is not weak. She is strong. She has learned how to stand on her own 2 feet, how to create a future for herself, how to develop her own happiness, and how to build a life that is rich in purpose and fulfillment. She is not dependent on anyone else for her joy, her security, or her identity. She knows who she is, and she walks with confidence in the path that God has laid before her. If marriage is meant for you, it will come at the right time. And if it never comes, you will still have lived a life of meaning, of strength, and of purpose. A life that is not defined by a relationship status, but by the impact you make, your love you give, and the purpose you fulfill. You were never created just to be a wife. You were created to be a woman of purpose. Let me remind you that a woman's worth is not defined by whether she has a husband or not. Too often, society places pressure on women, making them feel like they are incomplete without marriage, as if their success or fulfillment depends on a man standing beside them. But let me tell you this, your value is not determined by your relationship status. You are already whole, already enough, already valuable just as you are. You do not need a husband to complete you because you are already complete within yourself. Many women spend their lives waiting for the right man to come along, waiting for a relationship to make them feel secure, waiting for someone to love them before they learn to love themselves. But life is not meant to be spent waiting. A woman without a husband is not a woman who is missing something. She is a woman who has been given the time and opportunity to fully develop herself without distractions. This is not a curse, it is a gift. It is a time to grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and financially. It is a time to build a strong foundation for your future. Instead of looking at what is missing, look at what you have been given the freedom to discover yourself, to chase your dreams, to invest in your growth, and to build a life that is fulfilling on your own terms. Too often, women settle for the wrong relationships out of fear of being alone. They compromise their values, lower their standards, and accept less than they deserve because they believe that being with anyone is better than being single. But being with the wrong person is far lonelier than being alone. There are women in marriages right now who feel empty, unseen, and unappreciated. They rushed into relationships because they felt pressured. And now they realize that loneliness is not about the absence of a man, but about the absence of true purpose and connection. It is better to be single and at peace than to be with someone who does not honor your worth. A strong woman does not settle. She understands that love should never require her to shrink herself, to abandon her dreams, or to tolerate disrespect. She does not chase after validation from others because she has already validated herself. She does not fear being alone because she knows that solitude is a time of power, not weakness. In solitude, you learn who you really are. You learn to stand on your own. You learn to love yourself in a way that no relationship can teach you. And when you are whole within yourself, you will attract people who respect and appreciate that wholeness. Some women feel like time is running out. They see their friends getting married. They hear the whispers of family members asking when it will be their turn. And they start to feel like they are behind. But let me tell you something, God's timing is not society's timing. Just because marriage is happening for others does not mean you are supposed to rush into it. Your journey is your own. And there is no deadline on when or if love will come into your life. If it is meant for you, it will happen at the right time. And if it is not, that does not mean your life is any less significant. A woman's purpose is not just to be a wife, it is to fulfill her destiny, to make an impact, to live fully and fearlessly. A woman without a husband is not lacking. She is not incomplete. She is not behind. She is exactly where she needs to be, growing, evolving, and becoming the best version of herself. She does not spend her days in desperation, hoping someone will come and rescue her from her singleness. Instead, she takes charge of her life. She pursues her passions. She builds financial independence. She nurtures her faith. She becomes a woman who stands strong, not because she has a man beside her, but because she has built herself from the inside out. Many women have been conditioned to believe that happiness is found in a relationship, but true happiness is found in purpose. When you know who you are, when you are confident in your path, when you wake up every day excited about your life, that is fulfillment. A relationship should be an addition to an already full life, not the source of your happiness. If a man comes into your life, he should complement your purpose, not distract you from it. He should respect your strength, not try to diminish it. And if he never comes, you should still be living a life so rich with purpose that you lack nothing. Do not let society rush you. Do not let loneliness make you settle. Do not let fear make you believe that your worth is tied to someone else. You are enough just as you are. You are whole, even without a relationship. You are valuable, even if no one has put a ring on your finger. Love yourself first, build your life first, and trust that whatever is meant for you will come at the right time. And even if it never comes, you will still be standing strong, still be walking in purpose, still be fulfilled, because your life was never about finding a husband. It was about becoming the woman you were created to be. Let me remind you of a powerful truth. A woman's strength, value, and purpose are not defined by whether she has a husband or not. The world often tries to place women in a box, making them believe that their success, happiness, and fulfillment are tied to marriage. But that is not the truth. Your worth is not determined by your relationship status. Your value is not measured by whether or not you wear a wedding ring. You are complete within yourself, whole without needing someone to validate you. You were created with purpose, and your destiny is not dependent on a man standing beside you. Too many women go through life feeling like they are waiting for something to happen, waiting for a relationship to give them meaning, waiting for a husband to bring them happiness. But life is not meant to be lived in waiting. Life is happening now. You have been given this time not to wait, but to grow, to develop, to become the best version of yourself. A woman who understands her worth does not waste her time hoping for someone to complete her. She spends her time becoming so complete within herself that she radiates confidence, strength, and purpose. There is a dangerous belief that has been passed down through generations, the idea that a woman's greatest achievement is to be married. But let me ask you, what happens if that never comes? Does that mean your life was incomplete? Absolutely not. Your purpose is not just to be a wife, it is to fulfill your calling, to walk boldly in your gifts, to impact the world, to grow in faith, and to become everything God created you to be. A husband may be a part of your journey, but he is not the destination. You're not here to merely exist until someone chooses you. You're here to build a life of meaning, whether or not a relationship is part of the story. Many women fear being alone, but let me tell you, being alone is not something to be afraid of. Some of the most powerful, transformative moments of your life will happen when you are alone. Solitude is where you find yourself. It is where you learn to love yourself without needing someone else to do it for you. It is where you develop your strengths, build your confidence, and cultivate a deep understanding of who you are. A woman who knows her worth does not settle out of fear of loneliness. She does not rush into a relationship just to avoid being by herself. She understands that being single is not a punishment, it is a season of preparation. The world will tell you that you need a man to feel secure, to feel loved, to feel complete. But true security does not come from another person, it comes from within. True love is not found in desperation, it is found in purpose. And completeness is not something that a relationship gives you, it is something that you develop by knowing who you are, loving yourself deeply, and walking confidently in your path. A strong woman does not depend on a man to define her. She defines herself. She does not wait for love to give her meaning, she creates meaning in her own life. Many women settle for less than they deserve because they believe that being with anyone is better than being single. But the truth is, nothing is lonelier than being with the wrong person. A relationship should add to your peace, not take it away. It should uplift you, not drain you. It should inspire you, not hold you back. Too many women sacrifice their happiness, their dreams, and their well-being just to say they have a husband. But marriage should never come at the cost of your peace, your self-respect, or your purpose. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone. You do not need to lower your standards just to fit into someone else's expectations. You do not need to chase love or beg for attention. The right person, if he is meant for you, will recognize your value without you having to convince him. And if no one comes, that does not mean you are less. It simply means that your journey is different, and that does not make it any less meaningful. You were not put on this earth just to be someone's wife. You were put here to live, to grow, to impact, to thrive. A woman without a husband is not lacking anything. She is strong, independent, and capable. She is someone who has learned how to stand on her own 2 feet, how to create a life she loves, how to pursue her goals without waiting for permission. She does not need a relationship to validate her because she has already validated herself. She does not need a title of wife to walk confidently in her calling. She does not need to fit into society's mold. She creates her own path, and she walks it with confidence. Some women feel like time is running out, that they are behind because they are not married. But let me tell you, there is no deadline on your happiness. There is no expiration date on your worth. You are not late, you are right on time for your journey. Just because others are getting married does not mean you should rush into something that is not meant for you. Just because people expect you to be in a relationship does not mean you should compromise your standards just to meet their expectations. Your life is yours to live, and it should be lived on your terms. So do not let society make you feel like you are less. Do not let loneliness push you into a relationship that is not right for you. Do not let fear convince you that you need a husband to be happy. You are already enough. You are already whole. You are already valuable just as you are. Whether or not love comes into your life, make sure you are building a life that is full, meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. A life that is not defined by a relationship, but by the purpose, strength, and love you have within yourself. There is a belief deeply rooted in society that a woman without a husband is somehow incomplete, as if her life is on pause until she is chosen, as if her worth is dependent on whether or not she is married. But let me tell you the truth, your worth is not defined by whether or not you have a husband. Your life is not on hold because you are single. You are not waiting to be chosen. You were already chosen by God, created with purpose, designed with gifts, and placed on this earth for a reason far greater than marriage alone. Too often, women grow up being taught that marriage is the ultimate goal, that happiness is tied to finding a husband, that fulfillment comes from having a family. And while marriage can be a beautiful part of life, it is not the definition of a woman's success. You were not put on this earth simply to be someone's wife. You were put here to grow, to build, to impact, to lead, to create, to walk in your purpose. A woman without a husband is not missing anything. She is living, evolving, becoming everything she was meant to be. There are many women who have been conditioned to believe that their time is running out, that they must settle before they are too old, that they should accept less than they deserve just to say they are married. But what is the value of marriage if it costs you your peace, your dreams, your happiness? Rushing into the wrong relationship just to meet society's expectations is not a path to fulfillment, it is a path to regret. It is far better to be single and at peace than to be in a marriage that drains you. It is better to stand alone in confidence than to be with someone who does not see your worth. A woman who understands her value does not live in fear of being alone. She does not chase after love or force something that is not meant for her. She does not shrink herself to fit into a man's life. Instead, she builds a life so full, so meaningful, so complete, that if a man comes along, he is simply an addition, not the source of her happiness. She does not need a husband to feel secure because her security comes from within. She does not need a relationship to feel loved because she has already learned to love herself. Too often, women settle for less than they deserve because they believe that being single is a problem that needs to be fixed. But singleness is not a problem. It is an opportunity. It is a time of growth, a season of preparation, a period where you can focus on your dreams, your goals, your faith, your self-development. It is a chance to travel, to learn, to expand your mind, to build financial independence, to pour into your passions. Instead of seeing this time as a waiting period, see it as a building season. Because the truth is, you do not need to wait for a husband to start living the life you want. You can start now. Many women look around and see their friends getting married, having children, building families, and they start to question their own path. But comparison is the enemy of joy. Just because someone else's journey looks different does not mean you are behind. Your timeline is your own, and there is no expiration date on love, success, or happiness. If marriage is meant for you, it will come at the right time. And if it does not, that does not mean your life is any less meaningful. It simply means that your purpose was designed differently. There are women who spend years in unhappy marriages because they felt pressured to settle. They ignored red flags, they compromised their values, they sacrificed their dreams, all because they believed that being married was more important than being at peace. But what kind of life is that? What kind of love is that? True love does not require you to lose yourself. A healthy relationship does not ask you to give up your identity. A strong marriage is built on mutual respect, not desperation. A woman without a husband is not weak. She is not incomplete. She is not lacking in any way. She is strong because she has learned to stand on her own. She is powerful because she has discovered her own worth. She is unstoppable because she has chosen to build a life that she loves, regardless of her relationship status. She is not defined by whether or not she is married. She is defined by the impact she makes, the purpose she walks in, the confidence she carries. Some people will say that a woman is happiest when she is in love, but the truth is, a woman is happiest when she is at peace with herself, when she wakes up every day with a sense of purpose, when she does not settle for less than she deserves, when she builds a life so fulfilling that love, if it comes, is simply a beautiful addition, not the foundation of her happiness. So if you are a woman without a husband, do not let society make you feel like you are less. Do not let loneliness push you into the wrong relationship. Do not let fear convince you that you need a man to be complete. You are already whole. You are already enough. Your life is valuable, your purpose is great, and your happiness is in your hands. Whether or not love comes, make sure you are living a life that is full, meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. A life that is not defined by a relationship, but by the strength, love, and purpose you carry within yourself. The idea that a woman without a husband is incomplete or lacking is an outdated and misguided perspective. Society has placed this heavy expectation on women that their ultimate goal should be to find a husband, as if marriage is the pinnacle of success. And if that doesn't happen, their lives are somehow unfinished. But I am here to tell you that this is not the truth. Your life is not a race to find someone to settle down with, and your worth is not contingent upon your relationship status. The reality is that every woman, whether married or not, has a profound purpose and a divine calling on her life, a purpose that goes far beyond the walls of any marriage. The idea that a woman's happiness and fulfillment are bound to marriage is one of the greatest misconceptions perpetuated by society. Women are often taught that their happiness will come from someone else, that they are incomplete unless they have a husband by their side. And while a loving, supportive partner can be a beautiful part of life, it is not the defining factor of who you are or your worth. You are not made more valuable or less valuable based on whether you are married. You are valuable because you exist. You are valuable because of who you are, what you offer to the world, and the purpose you walk in. A woman who does not have a husband is not lacking anything. She is just as complete, just as worthy, and just as powerful. In many ways, being single is not a curse or something to be ashamed of. It is a season of growth, self-discovery, and preparation. It is a time to focus on becoming the best version of yourself without distractions or compromises. When a woman is not tied to a relationship, she has the opportunity to explore her dreams and passions, to grow in her career, to build her financial independence, to deepen her faith, and to strengthen her emotional health. Singleness offers freedom and the space to grow into the person you were always meant to be. Instead of waiting for a relationship to begin living, use this time to invest in yourself, to become the kind of woman who doesn't need a man to feel fulfilled, but who chooses to share her life with someone who will add to her joy, not complete her. The fear of loneliness often pushes many women into relationships that are not right for them. Some women settle into marriages because they believe that being married is better than being single, even when the relationship does not bring them peace, joy, or fulfillment. But let me tell you, a woman who is married to the wrong person will find herself more lonely than she ever was before. Being in an unhealthy relationship can drain your spirit, rob you of your peace, and cause you to lose sight of your own dreams and aspirations. It's better to be single and at peace than to be in a relationship that takes more than it gives. A woman who understands her worth does not rush into a relationship just to avoid being single. She understands that the right partner will come in time, but she is in no hurry because she is living her life fully with or without a husband. She has learned to enjoy her own company, to be at peace with her own thoughts, to love herself without needing external validation. She has learned that the right relationship is not one of desperation, it is one of mutual respect, love, and growth. A woman who knows her worth will never settle for less than she deserves, simply to fulfill someone else's idea of what her life should look like. It is crucial to realize that no matter what the world tells you, you are not defined by your relationship status. You are not incomplete because you do not have a husband, nor are you less than a woman because you are single. You are complete in your individuality. You have a calling, a mission, and a purpose that are separate from any relationship you may or may not have. There is no expiration date on your life, no ticking clock that says you must be married by a certain age. Life is not about finding someone to complete you. It's about becoming the best version of yourself so that when the right person enters your life, they will be an enhancement, not the source of your fulfillment. Many women who are single are afraid of being judged, afraid of being seen as less than or unworthy. But the truth is, the only judgment that matters is from the one who created you. And He sees you as worthy, valuable, and whole with or without a husband. There is nothing wrong with being single, just as there is nothing wrong with being in a relationship. What matters most is that you are true to yourself and that you are living a life that reflects your true values, your goals, and your aspirations. Do not let society make you feel as though you are incomplete because you are single. You are more than enough just as you are. The idea of a woman without a husband being less than or incomplete is not only harmful, it is untrue. A woman who is not married is not any less significant than a woman who is. Every woman, whether she is single or married, has a unique role to play in this world. Each woman carries gifts and talents that are meant to be shared, regardless of her relationship status. The key is to stop thinking of yourself as missing something and instead focus on living a life that reflects your worth and your purpose. If you are single, embrace this time. Use it to cultivate your strengths, to explore your interests, to build your future. You do not need a husband to feel loved, to feel complete, or to feel valuable. You are already loved, already complete, and already valuable simply because you exist. The right relationship will come in time, but until then, make sure you are living a life that is full, rich, and meaningful. Do not wait for a man to complete you. Become the woman you were always meant to be. And if a partner enters your life, let them add to your joy, not be the source of it. You are enough, and your life is already full of purpose.